alphabet font cartridges. So let's grab the first one. So these, as I say, I keep in a separate section because it's kind of the ones that you grab all the time because they've got your basic shapes or your little tags or whatever. So the first one, again, in no particular order, is Graphically Speaking. It's got some quite modern feels to it, and I think that you could easily use this for some masculine cards and even young sort of teenager or whatever cards. They're a little bit more edgy. And I think you'll recognise some of these that I used in my Italy word album. And on this you get your main image, you get your phrase and then a word, then a jumbled up phrase, a type, an icon and an icon blackout. So you get loads and loads in this. Again, it's one of those that it's really surprising just how much you get. Oops. So it's just a quick flick through. I'm not showing every single page. Oops. Okay. So that's Graphically Speaking. The next one is, of course, the absolute essential. And to me, this is a brilliant cartridge because it's got your alphabet, which is George, and then your basic shapes. This was one that came with the Cricut, although I managed to get this separately, and it didn't come with my Cricut. It was launched with the Cricut machine, the same as I believe now is it Cricut Basics is now with the machine. I personally like this because you get the alphabet and you get the shapes. And if we go straight into some letters, so if you look, you've got your alphabet, you've got your shape, you've got a sign, a slotted sort of tag, a charm, so you've got it in the letter and in the shape, and then you've got a silhouette of both, you've got a shadow for both, and then a shadow blackout for both. And this is the one that I turn to over and over again because it's got my different sort of squares, and it's got the alphabet is really cool. It's got the tags, it's got the circles. I think almost every time I make a card on my Gypsy and I need to create my template for my card for my designing purposes, I always turn to George for that. So you got your perfect squares, and you can see the font is really, really cool as well. So it really is, like, I think if any, this would be my #1 essential just for use. And as I say, I believe now that this would be Cricut Basics, but personally, if it was me, if I could get this instead, I would, because I just think there's so much on it. Okay, so that's George and basic shapes. By the way, when you do have load George onto the Gypsy, it's a slightly different procedure, and you need to connect your Gypsy to your Cricut and connect the cartridge, put the cartridge into the Cricut machine. It will not link via the Gypsy directly through the cord that you normally would do. Okay, so the next one is cutting up. This is a fairly new one to me, although it is a reasonably old cartridge, but I just really, really like the letters on this. I think the shapes are really, really nice. You've got quite different shapes, and you've got the main image shape for the letter, you've got cartoon, holy cow, serifs, short stack, a shadow for the main image presumably, and a cartoon shadow, which is that one. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fonts and 2 shadows, and then you're getting that in all these, you know, the whole alphabet, and then you're getting your extra kind of icons, a whole set of numbers. The one thing I have noticed with Cricut, which I find a nuisance, is that I can't find a pound sign. I think there's one cartridge that has it, and it's not one I own, so that's a little bit annoying. So, and also you've got all these sentiments here as well. So it's a really nice cartridge. I like that font a lot. Okay, the next one is Lyrical Letters. Now this one I really like. It's a really nice font. So, again, this is one that you're going to get a lot of different fonts on the one cartridge. So we've got the main one, then we've got capital, connected, loop-de-loo, Jack Sprat, Jumbo and Italic Monoline. So you've got 7 different fonts on one cartridge. So loads, and they are very different. When you work with them, particularly on your gypsy, they are very, very different. You can see this on the K here. How, you know, each one is quite distinctive. So you're getting a lot of value for money on this one. I think this is one I turn to a lot because you've got your standard shapes, you've got sort of slightly italic, you've got such various styles of lettering on this. And then as we get to the back, we have our numbers with our extra sort of icons, that your standard ones like your ampersand, your question mark, etc. And then you've got your brackets up here, and again all different types. And then you've got little charms, and again lots of different ones all on that one shape. Then we come on to just some standard sentiments, but on that you're getting also like a border. This one is a little flower, a spider for Happy Halloween, Happy Thanksgiving and Happy Anniversary. So loads on that page, and again lots and lots on here. It's actually even more than I realised. It's surprising when you look through the books, actually you see a lot more even then than looking through on the Gypsy or the Cricut Craft Room. So loads and loads. So I think that one's a very jam-packed cartridge and really good for so much on there. Then another one that I think is probably one of my first turn to for alphabets, because it's such a nice standard set of alphabets and really traditional, simple, not too fancy, just really nice fonts. And again you're getting one, and then you've got tall ball, italic, roly-poly, end caps and your shadow, and then your end cap shadow. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fonts plus 2 shadows on this one. And then you've got your numbers again with your extra standard things that you need. This one's even got a little dash, which is good. I haven't seen that many often. And you've got your brackets. And then this is really cool. You've got some great grass and other kind of things. This one's like a scenescape. And the same here. Buildings, grass, flowers. So that's really funky. Some fabulous borders, and how useful is that? A standard scallop. I mean, that's just so handy. And if you have your gypsy, you could weld, you know, as long as you want to, or use your fit to length feature. Tags, hearts, etc., circles, lovely speech boxes. So there's loads and loads on here. Oh, and even some envelopes. See, I'm finding things I'd forgotten were on here. Little bags. So again, a really jam-packed cartridge. And then my last font one, but not my last of this category as it were, is Calligraphy Collection. Again, another really nice cartridge. Let's see if you can find one. There we go. So on this one, you've got your standard font here. Then you've got Gratitude, Celebrate, Matrimony, Inspiration. Then you've got Shadow for this one, and then Inspiration Shadow. So you've got 5 fonts plus 2 shadows on this. So, and very different fonts. And then let's sit forward, so you've got your numbers, and they're really, really nice. These are different ampersands. $sign. Cents. And so go past that. And then you've got 0 with some brackets. And then we get to some card shapes, some different tags with slots in here, banner, another type of tags, just some different cards and shapes. Here we've got envelopes and liners, etc. in different shapes. I mean, look at that, that's a really cool one. And then you've got your standard kind of sentiments, and then just some shapes, etc. So some really, again, another really full one. And I think often with these font ones, I think it's tended to be assumed that you've just got the font and nothing else, but that's not the case. They're very, very full. Then this is, after George, my next must-have cartridge, I would say, is Tags, Bags, Boxes and More. Now I know Favourite have retired this and bought out a new Tags Bags. It is not the same designs inside, it is different. So I really like this original one, and personally, if you can get hold of one, if you haven't got it, I would really recommend it, because it is very, very different. And again, I'm not the sort of person who makes things with tags on, but I love all the little boxes, etc. And let me just show you. If you have a look, you see this is one of the boxes, and I just use it to pop bits and pieces in. And then I just put a little butterfly on the front. We've got this one, which is somewhat battered as it's a bit well loved, but you can get the idea. They're just useful, cute little boxes. And I put in this one, which I probably need to do a little prayer book to, but it's really not worth it, to be honest, because it gets bashed. But this has got my Martha Stewart cutting tool in, and my other Cricut blade, and spare blades for my knife. And it actually is supposed to link together and make like a little flower, but, you know, got a bit battered, but they're very handy for these little bits. Really useful just for using as storage stuff. And then of course you've got all the different tags. So you've got your main tag, you've got a window tag, you've got a mirror tag, mirror window, so it's mirror half, a window on one and then the other half is plain. Then you've got mirror windows, so windows on both sides, shadow and blackout. And when you hit the shift key, it changes from the slot to the dot, as it were. So you get that option as well. And of course, if you hit blackout, you do, I believe you can get it without anything at all on those. When we go to this next one, yeah, it's got nothing on that one, on the blackout on the bottom there. But also, if you've got your gypsy, you can always remove that now anyway. So this is a real essential cartridge. And look at this lovely tag here. And then as you go further in, you've got these sort of longer tags, buckly things. I don't know what you even call them. These I did one on the front here of my album. So on the front of my album here, you can see I cut this out from there and created a buckle. And saying that, I think that might have been from Fabulous Finds, which isn't in my top 10 here, but I think it should be, to be honest. Fabulous Finds is another great cartridge. It's kind of all this hardware type stuff. Well, Fabulous Finds is more hardware type stuff, or looks like buckles, etc. This is more obviously your tags, bags and boxes. So the two are very complementary, and I don't know why I didn't really bring that one up, but anyway, I would also, as I say, include Fabulous Finds. So then you've got your cute little buckles, and then we get on to our bags, etc. So very, very cute. Okay, next, I think another one of these essential ones, Storybook. I said it was last the font, but actually that's not true. The Storybook is a font as well, but I so forget that it's got a font because it's got so much else on it. It's such a... This Storybook was the cartridge that I used almost, I think, exclusively for that basic grey mini album that I did. And this, you see, from that mini album I did nothing font wise. I only used it for the images because there's so much on the shift key in the images section. So you end up, you've got the one font here, then you've got tall, shorty, fancy, accent, then shadow and accent blackout. So you've got, again, your 5 fonts plus 2 shadows straight blackout, And then on that you've also got all these images on the shift key above. I mean, look at that gorgeous little frame. And here the lovely little heart, and then you've got the corners and border. This is some really loads of stuff. This is one that I used on that mini album. I used that one there for on the corner of one of the cards, and some of these swirls, etc. And in here was the little owls that I used. I'm not quite sure where he is yet, but we've even passed him. But look at these lovely borders and things. So there's so much on this. Now you get your numbers. So now here at the top on the shift key, you've got like your essentials for your like exclamation marks, question mark, etc. Let's just try and open that out a bit. And then here we've got little crowns. So presumably these would make 3D crowns. I don't know. And then your little top note shapes here, and then more kind of shapes there, which would be great. And then you've got phrases, so loads and loads in this one. Again, another one of these ones that's got so much in it, and kind of look beyond the first thing that you see on it, and it's surprising. Now this one I don't suppose anybody would be surprised about. This is Elegant Edges, and we're in the middle of making a mini album together using Elegant Edges. So again, I won't spend a huge amount of time on this because I'm sure you'll be able to have a look back at what we've been doing. But you can see there's a heck of a lot on this. I also believe I've already done a full cartridge review on it, but you've got all these different, you've got your main image, your frame, your border, your oblong shape, your little book, your shadow and your oblong frame. So you've got a lot of amazing stuff on this. I really love this cartridge, and the borders on their own to me make it worth the money because there's just so many borders on it. So a real must have. Okay, and last but certainly not least is this Elegant Cake cartridge by Martha Stewart. Now these cake cartridges can be used in your regular Cricut. They are just focusing on the cake machine, but they are not exclusive to the cake machine. And they may be a good cartridge if you're, or cartridges to look at if you're a beginner to Cricut, because sometimes the image is a little bit more smoothed out. They haven't got quite as many frilly bits, so it makes it a little bit more simple to cut, because obviously they're designed to be cutting in paste rather than paper, the images, so they do make them a little bit cleaner to cut. So on this Martha Stewart one, you've got your main image, you've got what they call a cake, a phrase, dinner at 8 lowercase, dinner at 8 uppercase, champagne toast and flourish frame. So you've got some, again, a lot on this. You've got your font and all your images and lots of sentiments. And being Martha Stewart, of course, it's going to be very, very lovely, and it is. And I think I've made, this is the one that I made the anniversary card from. I think it was this one, a long time back now. There is a video on that. So again, lots and lots of lovely, yummy things. And this is the bit, for me, that is what I was really wanting this for, was all these lovely punchy borders. So these are actually the shapes of some of her punches. Let's see if we can find one of the iconic ones. Here we go. So that's a very iconic Martha Stewart punch. So you have these, so you could get, I mean, a Martha Stewart punch, you're talking what, £15, and a cartridge, well, I can get my cartridges for about £40. So you say 45, that's 3 punches, and in here you've got you've got so many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you get my point. And look at this, lovely. And this one is one of her deep edge punches. And again, if you've got your Cricut Gypsy rather, you can use that to do it. So the Martha Stewart is fabulous for your borders as well as all the other images. So that is my top 10 of my kind of alphabets, etc. So, and also my top 10 of my regular Cricut kind of image cartridges. I will do a separate video at some point with my top 10 for my Imagine cartridges, but for now I hope you've enjoyed having a look at my favourite cartridges. But please, I'm sure you know this is a very moving target and these change frequently. There are some essentials like George, etc., but it is hard to pick because there's some fabulous cartridges out there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!